Hi there, this is Ranjit, and in this video we'll be doing the full review for the Nokia 6, and I have been using this device for a week, and I have very mixed reactions with this Nokia 6. Out of the box, I would tell that this is a phone not for everyone, but yes, it can be ideal for a certain segment of the users, and I'll divide this review between the pros and cons, what I liked about the device and what are the things I did not like about this device, so that you can make an informed decision if this Nokia 6 is for you or not. But before that, here are the quick specs for the Nokia 6. As you can see on the screen, it's powered by the Snapdragon 430 chipset. It has a 5.5-inch screen. The variant that is sold in India comes with 3 GB of RAM, 32 GB of internal storage, and other specs are here on the screen. So let's now divide this review between pros and cons. What are the things I liked about this Nokia 6 and what are the things I did not like? So first, let's start with the good things that are the pros. And the first thing that I really liked about this device is the build quality. The build quality is amazing. It feels very solid to hold, like a premium Android phone. It does not feel cheap when you hold it. It is a solid phone. And also, moving to the glass, they are using a 2.5D glass which curves nicely on the edges. So when you hold this phone, it gives you that premium feeling. So in terms of build quality, Nokia has done an incredible job. And in this price point, I would say this is the best build quality that you can see. No other phone even comes close to this one in terms of the build quality. Now moving to the display, this Nokia 6 is having a 5.5-inch display, which is an IPS grade screen, and it's a 1080p screen, and the screen quality is actually good. I have no problems regarding the screen quality, and even in terms of brightness, it is actually very bright. Even in outdoor lighting, that is in direct sunlight, if you keep it at auto brightness, it'll be easily visible. But one minor con that I've noticed is that if you even go to the lowest brightness, now I'm at zero brightness, then also the screen is actually pretty bright. So at night, I noticed that the screen was actually really bright. And also, though it has the auto brightness sensor, the auto brightness sensor calibration is not that well. In outdoor conditions, yes, it's fine, but in indoor conditions, many times I had to manually lower the brightness. Now moving to the fingerprint scanner, this one has a fingerprint scanner here. The home button is like a fingerprint scanner. It's not a button, it's like a capacitive key like we found on the OnePlus 3T, OnePlus 5, etc. So you just tap in to unlock, and the good thing is that the accuracy of the fingerprint scanner is good, but again, if you notice, it's not the fastest. It takes about a second to unlock, but in terms of accuracy, it is very accurate. So again, in terms of fingerprints scanner accuracy, I was happy, but again, it's not the quickest. Now moving to the earpiece, I again tested it with Airtel and even with Jio. Again, yes, it does support Jio VoLTE, so you don't have to worry about that. And in terms of cellular call quality, I did not have problems. And also the earpiece is actually clear, so no issues regarding that. I also took a lot of calls via the speaker phone, and they were loud and clear. It actually has stereo speaker setup. The main speaker is over here, and the earpiece also acts like a speaker, but I'll talk about that in the later part of the video. Now moving to the battery life, it has a 3000 milliamp hour battery which is sealed inside, so you cannot open the battery like most other new Android smartphones. And in terms of battery life, I would say it sits in the middle. It's not extraordinary or it's bad. It will last you for a typical working day, but again, you have to charge it every day. As you can see from the charts, I was hovering anywhere around 5 hours of screen on time with a typical full days of usage, even with dual SIM. So yes, it will last you for a typical working day, but again, don't expect it to last more than a day. You have to charge it every day. And there is one con that I have to talk about charging. It simply does not support any type of fast charging. I tried it with even fast charger. Fast charging is simply not supported on this phone. I'll talk about the charging time, etc. in the cons section. Now moving to gaming performance, I did play a few games, for example Modern Combat 5 and even Asphalt Extreme, and for the most part these games played fine. Yes, there were some frame drops at times that I noticed, but for the most part it was a good experience. But again, don't expect it to run every game without any lag. With very heavy games, you will notice some lag. That's due to the fact that it's just having a Snapdragon 430 processor, which is almost over a year old processor. So yeah, it can do gaming, but again, don't expect flawless gaming. If you want flawless gaming, you have to invest in a different handset like the Moto G5s Plus. Only yesterday I posted a gaming review. This one does perform a lot better in gaming due to the fact that it has a better processor, that is the Snapdragon 625 chipset. Also, some people were asking me about heating with this device. Yes, when you heavily stress the phone, for example, only using it on mobile data or gaming, the back will get slightly warm. But again, it's not like it's overheating. This is what I've experienced with other phones also when you do heavy gaming and stuff. So yes, this device will get warm at the back, but again, it's nothing like overheating that I have noticed. Now moving to camera, it has 16 megapixel rear facing camera and an 8 megapixel front facing camera. And just yesterday I compared the camera with the LG Q6. I'll have the link for that video, and I would say the rear facing camera performance was actually very good, and in terms of color accuracy it is very good. As you can see from the sample shots, in outdoor conditions it does a great job, but again in indoor conditions most of the phones in this price range don't do a spectacular job. That's the same thing with this Nokia 6. It is okay, but you have to be careful because it does not have any optical image stabilization or even electronic image stabilization. So in indoor conditions you have to be stable, otherwise the pictures will come out to be blurry. One thing to note is that, again, this is disappointing, is that many of the phones, though they don't have optical image stabilization, they employ electronic image stabilization, but that is also not present on this Nokia 6. So I took some footage at 1080p, but again, if you move around, it will be shaky. Now moving to the front facing camera, I expected that the front facing camera performance would be really good because it has an 8 megapixel front facing camera, and it also has autofocusing for front facing camera, which we generally don't find with the many of the front facing cameras. But again, the front facing camera quality was not that great, as you can see from the sample shots. And again, I compared it with the LG Q6. The LG Q6 has a better front facing camera. So in terms of camera, I would say it's mixed performance. It's not bad or it's not great. I would say it sits in the middle. Now moving to one thing I really like with this Nokia 6 is regarding the Android security updates. This is much faster than most of the other Android smartphones, and I used this device for last 7 days. Just yesterday I got 2 updates, and now it's on the August Android security update, as you can see. So in terms of Android security updates, Nokia is keeping its promise, so you will get the Android updates very quickly on this device, which makes it really different from most other Android devices. Also coming to UI, it has this almost stock-like Android experience apart from the camera. The camera interface is slightly, customized, but I'll talk about the UI experience in the cons section. Now moving to sensors, here I'm happy with the Nokia 6. They did not skimp on sensors. It has all the sensors that you will need, including the auto brightness sensor, compass, gyroscope. So in terms of sensors, Nokia did not do any skimping, so that's a good thing. Also, I checked the audio via the headphone jack, and I have to say the audio quality via the headphone jack was good on this phone. But this phone also has that Dolby Atmos stuff. I would say when I disabled that Dolby Atmos, I was getting better sound signature. So, but yeah, audio via the headphone jack is good even if you use heavy headphones. Now let's move to the things that I did not like on this phone. Those are the cons. And the first biggest con that I have is that this phone does not have any physical LED notification light, and it does not have even ambient display or a moto display. Whenever you get notification, lights up. So to see the notifications, if you miss it, you have to open the phone to check the notification. So that is one thing you have to note. Also moving to dual speaker, as I told you, it has dual speaker. The bottom one is obviously the speaker, and the earpiece also acts like a speaker. And again, the bottom one is a lot louder than the earpiece, so it doesn't give you true balance sound. But again, I won't complain. Many of the other phones also have it like that. And for ringtones and notifications, I would say the sound volume is good enough. You won't miss the calls. But for some reason, for media playback, for example, when I was playing I loaded some videos on this and was playing that. Even at the maximum volume level, the audio was not that loud. This also happened with tons of YouTube videos that I played with on YouTube. Even at the maximum volume, it is okay, but I always felt that the volume levels was slightly low for a dual speaker setup. Again, one more tip is that, again, disable that Dolby option that you find in the settings. That boosts up the volume a little bit. So that Dolby sound thing is sort of a gimmick on this device. Now moving to the user interface, as I've told you, this is almost stock Android user interface that you are getting. This is something like that what we get with the Pixel, and for the most part it is okay, but I have noticed quite a bit of UI lags at time with this Nokia 6. So you have to be aware of this one. It doesn't happen every time, but yeah, I noticed it about 10% of the time. For example, you're working on an app and you come back to the UI. Sometimes when you move around and swipe around, you will notice some UI lag, which was slightly disappointing. Now, another thing that I did not like with this device is that this comes with 3 gigabytes of RAM. And as it's running stock Android UI, I thought that the RAM management would be really good. But RAM management is not very good on this device. It's typically like many of the Samsung mid-range phones. After third or fourth app, if you go back, it will reload the app. And this was happening quite a bit. So RAM management has not been done very well on this device. They can fix it with the software update, but as of now, RAM management is not among the best. I've seen other phones also that come with 3 gigabytes of RAM do perform a lot better than this Nokia 6 in terms of RAM management. Also, coming to this last thing is regarding the charging time. It simply does not support any kind of fast charging. I tried it with the charger that is supplied and even with some fast chargers that I have, and simply it does not support any fast charging. And when it was around 14%, I put it on charge. To reach 100%, it took almost 2.5 hours. So to completely charge, it will take slightly less than 3 hours. So that is one thing you have to keep in mind. So I would say if you're buying this device, put it on charger at night. Otherwise, if you want to quickly charge it, that is simply not an option on this Nokia 6. So what do I feel about this Nokia 6? Again, as I've mentioned, I have very mixed reactions with this device. If you're sort of a very casual user, you can certainly go with this Nokia 6 because it has that great build quality and that Android updates also you would get. But again, if you're sort of a, power user or a slightly heavy user, then I would simply not recommend you this device because you will definitely notice that laggy UI at times, and also the RAM management has not been done well. And I feel that it was a wrong choice of Nokia to go with the Snapdragon 430 chipset for a 1080p display. And that is the reason that sometimes you notice that UI lag that I have been noticing with this device. So again, if you're sort of a casual user, as I've told you, you can definitely go with the Nokia 6. But if you're sort of a power or an advanced user, I would not suggest the Nokia 6. And let's just wait and see what Nokia does. Maybe they'll launch the Nokia 6 Plus or the Nokia 7. I'll be surely waiting for those devices. And if I have to rate this device out of 10, I would give it a rating of 7 out of 10. Again, I have also posted other videos on this Nokia 6. For example, a FAQ video where I answered most of the common questions that I was getting from you guys. I'll have the link for that video in the YouTube description area. Check out that. And if you're still not subscribed to my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. This is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video.